to be orchards. And there was a few spirits that we know for sure were living in the house. And there was one named Jeremy, and he was a shadow man. And Jeremy would come and go, he'd turn on the radio, things like that. And one day, I just kind of walked out of the bathroom, and I got chills up and down my back, and I was like, I'm not alone, and this is fine. He would hang out in the basement where we would do band practice a lot of the time, and my bassist would run away because he got very frightened. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone and I feel something. And we all kind of felt that way, but my drummer lived there and he was used to it. So I walked out of the bathroom and I felt something, and I looked to my left and I see a shadow, and I'm not sure, so I just kind of waved in the general direction. And it slowly moved away, and it was kind of like, I felt very blessed that they felt like they were able to open up to me and say, like, hey, I'm here. But it was just sad that, you know, they were there. 'Cause
right.
I'm sure no one would like to live in a house forever and ever and ever, you know, the same place.
Right, and not have any, like, possible future ahead of them or what have you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you mind if I ask a couple of questions about this?
Sure.
I'd like to as well.
Yeah, by all means. But
Sure.
so when you you said the band had experiences where they had also felt like uncomfortable or that something was there. Did people outside of the band have any experiences with the house, or anyone visiting?
Not that I really know of. I mean, the family was just really aware of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine if you live there, of course, it's going to be a little more
Right.
noticeable than if you're just visiting, you know, briefly or
Yeah.
what have you.
And I also grew up in a house with spirits in it, and I felt totally comfortable about it. And since I was raised in that environment, I've always been very open. And you know, my mother was very aware. Her grandmother died on her bed, and later that became my room. And I was very aware when I wasn't alone. I'd be like, "Oh, she's here. This is fine. It's just kind of annoying. Like I'd like to not have you here." But sometimes my mom would feel an indent in her bed, and she'd look over to see if the cats were on the bed. No, there was just an indent. She was sitting on the bed. And my sister, when she was younger, saw the woman in purple. That was her favorite color. And I find a lot of the time that spirits just kind of open themselves up to children because they're not going to have any misconceptions or anything.
Children seem a little bit more open in general to
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
What was your question, Austin?
So I was wondering, just like it seemed that you guys were here for just a certain amount of time, and so I'm guessing and wondering if you guys left, if she's just still there, just still living there, do you think?
Probably. His name was Jeremy.
Jeremy, I thought it was like a woman in purple or something.
Oh. That's at my place. Oh, you mean my
okay.
place? I thought you had a... We are confused.
Well, there was two different
Right.
houses that you were talking about.
Yeah, I hope that she's still there because we moved out, and that would be pretty funny if the new family would have experiences with her. She was a very kind woman, so I'm sure they would be pleasant, but...
I actually have a ghost story from South Salem, and I'm wondering if they're, like, connected, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Sounds ooky.
Share.
So, one time I was spending the night, like, at my house with my sister. We were having, like, a sleepover in our basement, and you guys have been in my basement. It's a little bit... It's got some weird... It's got some weird feelings.
There's a doll that's alive down there.
It's ooky. There's, like, dolls all over the place, and... It just doesn't feel right.
So when you go down there just to do like what's down there that you regularly have to visit? Is there like storage or something?
We just store stuff down there, honestly.
We have rough nights down there. Adult sleepovers down there.
I see.
We used to, when I was a kid, we used to have like toy rooms down there. Our toy room was actually the room that we would play in, and it was the room with no windows, which is pretty ooky when you think about it.
Yeah, that is kind of creepy.
But so, yeah, I had a sleepover with my oldest sister, Molly, and we were down there, and I was kind of scared as is, because I didn't like the basement, like, as a kid, or ever, honestly.
Sure.
felt it.
And so I asked her to turn on the light, and it was, like, in the corner, and it was just the bathroom light, and the rest of the living room and the basement was just dark. And so, I went to sleep, and then I turned over, and you know how when you turn over, you kind of open your eyes a little bit, because you're
Sure.
like, you know, just turn it over.
Yeah.
So I saw this figure, and she had, like, dark brown hair, like, down over her face, and was wearing, like, kind of a white, like, dress from a different era, and she was just looking down at my sister, and I was, like, so scared in that moment, and I didn't know what to do, but I didn't want to wake my sister up, because I thought that if I did that, the ghost would, like, freak out or something. So I just turned over.
Good night.
And I actually thought, like, maybe it might have been an intruder. And so
Oh, right.
I didn't want to, like, make any noise. And so I went back to sleep. And when I woke up, I told her what had happened, and we asked my sister what she was wearing that night, and she
Your other sister.
my other sister, and she wasn't wearing anything similar to what the white figure was wearing, and I've had, like, nightmares since then about it, and yeah, it was just an ooky time for sure.
Very strange.
But, yeah.
Do you know anyone else who's had experiences in this basement?
Yeah, actually, both of my sisters were watching TV in the basement, and my sister Molly has a no trespassing sign on her door, and randomly